It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Washington Nationals. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers in Washington opening up the first at 3. Dodgers will go to Washington later on in September. Tonight, left-handed John Lennon on the mound for Washington. He comes in with a record of 6-6, 1-0 against the Dodgers last year. Hiroki Kuroda on the mound for Dodgers. He's 6-11. He's 1-0 against Washington last year. The Dodgers should welcome Washington to town because since 2006, the Dodgers have won 12 of 14 against the Nationals here at Dodger Stadium. And by the way, each team 13.5 games back, Washington trailing Philadelphia and the Dodgers behind the Giants. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Hyundai Uncensored. See what they're saying at mysocalhyundai.com. By 76 Gasoline. We're on the driver's side. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T.
Well, one thing for sure is it's a beautiful night for baseball. Dodgers back home, 9-game homestand. But, hey, one game at a time, they start things off with the Washington Nationals. As we get to our Hyundai key to the game, and let's start with Hiroki Kuroda, Steve. And, hey, maybe the record doesn't really support it, but he really has been consistent this year.
Well, and every year he's gotten better in his 4 seasons here with the Dodgers. Maybe it took him a little while to adjust. Obviously, he was a foreign player coming to a place that's very new to him. Got better and better each season. The record is bad, but that's because this Dodger team never scores any runs for him. There's a guy like that on every team. You know, it was Derek Lowe before Kuroda got here, and then he kind of took over that role where it just sort of happens. Imagine having to go out there and pitch when you know that 2 out of 3 starts, you're going to have to be virtually perfect in order to win a game. They've scored 2 or fewer runs for him 12 of 19 starts. That's unbelievable.
Certainly a lot of teams interested in Hiroki Kuroda. He's the subject of a trade rumor. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he will get moved. I think there's no question that he wants a chance to pitch for a team that's going to win. This team is not it this year.
Taking a quick timeout, coming back, and then it is first pitch. Vince Scully has the call, and we'll see you for the postgame. Enjoy. See ya.
Sandwich combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. And by your Southern California Ford dealers. Visit us today and trade up to Ford. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers open up the stadium again after a brief 6-game road trip that saw them go to Arizona and San Francisco, and now home sweet home on a beautiful summer's evening as they entertain the Washington Nationals. The Nationals arrive here for a quick series led by Davey Johnson, and let's take a look at Davey's lineup. And the names on the card go this way. Roger Bernardina will open up in center field. Danny Espinosa at second base. Ryan Zimmerman at third. Michael Morse at first base. Jason Worth in right field. Lance Nix will be in left. Wilson Ramos will be behind the plate. Ian Desmond at short. And John Lannon on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Hiroki Kuroda. And he'll bring a record of 6-11. 1-0 against Washington, and he's tuning up right now, getting ready to face Bernardino, Espinosa, and Zimmerman. A couple of notes about Washington you haven't seen or heard about them in a while. First of all, they like to steal bases. They're third highest in the league in stolen bases. They've stolen 81. They are second, very aggressive, in stealing third base. Davey also has the second highest as far as base runners going from first to third on a single. And they love to bunt. They have 20 bunt singles. They're also good at sacrificing. They're number one at that as well. So Washington will throw everything that Davey has at them, and it will be Bernardino followed by Espinosa and then Zimmerman. Davy Johnson, of course, is no stranger to Dodger Stadium. He was the manager back in 1999 when the Dodgers finished third, and he was second when the Dodgers finished up in the year of 2000. For Davy, he comes back. He's lost a lot of weight. Last time we saw him, he probably had another 50 pounds on his frame. He had some serious abdominal surgeries about 7 years ago. He's a very, very interesting man, and during the series, we'd like to tell you a little bit about him. But right now, Roger Bernardino, one of many rabbits in the lineup. Bernardino, left-hand batter, hitting .260, 5 home runs, 20 runs batted in, and the first pitch is high, 1 ball and no strikes. Bernardino has stolen 16 out of 18, so if he gets aboard, he can be a headache. Left-hand hitter waiting. The next one by Kuroda in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bernardino with great speed. He has 19 infield hits, including 7 bunt singles. He's very tough, puts a lot of pressure on the infield. The 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on, hit to left field and deep. Going back wind to the track and makes the catch 2 steps from the scoreboard in left field. So 1 away on a long out to left. Let's take a look at the Dodgers. Gwynn, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Uribe, Furcal, Carroll, and Rivera on the infield, and the battery of Kuroda and Barajas. So 1 away, and Danny Espinosa coming up. And you know what? He's another rabbit. He has stolen 12 of 23. So Espinosa hitting .242. He has 17 home runs. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Washington, a very good team at home and a struggling team on the road. They're as different as black and white. Espinosa waiting. Now backs out for the moment, so Kuroda waits. Espinosa from Santa Ana went to Long Beach State. Kuroda into the windup in the strike 1 pitch, and Danny hits one to left field and deep. Back goes Gwynn again to the track, and in front of the wall makes the catch. So the 2 left-hand hitters, although Espinosa switches, but he batted left-handed, they both send Gwynn to the track in left field. And with 2 down, third baseman Ryan Zimmerman coming up. Ryan Zimmerman started out in the year. He hit .357 in the month of April, and it looked like he was off to the races. But since then, he's hitting only .214. So that's wrecked his average. It's down to .240. And the first pitch to Ryan, a 1-hopper into left field. I mean, he hit a line drive. So with 2 down, Zimmerman a single to left, and the batter will be Michael Morse.
First baseman number 38, Michael Morse.
High fastball. Zimmerman jumped on it. So Michael Morse coming up as those on television take another look at that big, long swing of Ryan Zimmerman. So Zim at first, talking to Trent Jewett, the first base coach. And here is Michael Morse. Michael Morse, 10th in the major leagues in slugging. He has Adrian Gonzalez and Miguel Cabrera a little in front. He has Prince Fielder, Paul Konerko a little behind. And that's where he's been of late. And he takes a big swing and a miss. Morse is a fella who modeled himself on Jason Worth. He was with Seattle at the time. Raul Ibanez, who became a star, said, you know, you remind me a lot of Jason Worth. So he was so psyched up that he wore Worth's uniform number 28. And then when Worth joined Washington, Morse happily relinquished number 28, and he wears number 38. Michael Morse from Fort Lauderdale, originally signed by the White Sox. And of course he has Jason Worth hitting back of him. And the pitch swung on and missed. Slider away, and the count 0-2. So Bernardino and Espinosa hitting left-handed, fly deep to left. Zimmerman singled. And now here is Morse. He is 6'5", 225, so just about the same size as Jason Worth. No balls and 2 strikes. Zim takes his lead short. Kuroda a look over there and now to the plate, and the slider off the plate. Michael Morse has the reputation of being a first ball hitter. He swings at about 38 to 40% of the first pitches. He swung, but he missed tonight. He has 12 of his 17 home runs on the road. So Michael waiting, and the 1-2 pitch is instead a throw to first. The one thing that Morse is consistent is in his batting average. He's hitting .315 at home, .313 on the road. He was the opposite of Zimmerman. He started off hitting only .211 in April, and he's just gotten better. 1-2 pitch on the way to Michael Morse. Kuroda ready. Hiroki delivers very high. 2-2 the count. When Morse hits a home run, and he has 17 of them, he has a habit. His signature is to hit himself on top of his helmet with his right hand as he runs around the bases. The other night, Jason Worth crossed the plate finally after hitting a home run, and Morse hit him on top of the head. So then Worth followed it, and there they were, giving the crowd a big kick. The pitch swung on and fouled back. So two what you would call late bloomers, Jason Worth and Michael Morse. Morse, 29 years old. And Jason, of course, who was with the Dodgers, victimized by several injuries and really developed going to Philadelphia. 2-2 the count. 2 down, first inning, no score. Ryan Zimmerman at first. Kuroda right foot on the rubber, out of a stretch. And the 2-2 pitch to Morse is instead a bluff. Kuroda backs off the rubber. Last year, the Dodgers and the Nationals split 6. Dodgers will be in Washington on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th of September. Now the 2-2 pitch to Michael Morse. There goes the run of Zimmerman. The pitch is low, and the throw is late. And unfortunately for Carroll, he couldn't hold on to it anyway. So Ryan Zimmerman joins the club. He steals a base, his second of the year. So with all the other rabbits, the throw on a hop, and it went out of Jamie Carroll's glove, but it appeared as if Zimmerman was in there anyway ahead of the tag. So Morse now 3-2, and Jason Worth waiting on deck. So Zimmerman takes his lead, and Morse waits to pick him up. In looking at Kuroda's work, Morse 0 for 3 in the past. Worth is 3 for 11 with a home run against him. Kuroda out of a stretch. And the 3-2 pitch to Michael Morse. Line drive right by Uribe and down the line. That scores Zimmerman easily. And Michael Morse goes into second base standing with a double. And Washington is on the board. And of course, that's kind of an upset. Remember, the Dodgers just don't give up runs in the first inning. They had, I think, 23 runs given up in the first inning this year. And now Michael Morse crushes one and scores Zimmerman. So 1-0 in favor of Washington. And here is Morse's alter ego, Jason Worth. Jason Worth, remember, in December of last year, signed a 7-year deal with Washington for $126 million. Well, he's hitting only .218. Out of a stretch goes Kuroda. Looks at second, works Worth, and that's low. Ball 1. 1-0. Jason, 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Last year, a career year for him, and it certainly paid off with that 7-year deal. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Kuroda deliberate, comes back, and it's swung on and missed. And the count 1-1. Normally, Jason Worth averages a little more than 4 pitches in at bat. But all of his numbers, it would appear, has really gone down. Last year, He hit .300 against right-hand pitching. This year he's hitting .235. 1-1 pitch on the way. Worth fouls it back. 1-2. So in a sense, for Washington, they made an awful lot of money to get Worth, and he hasn't proven he's worth it yet. And meanwhile, Michael Morse, who came here in a deal that sent Ryan Langerhans to Seattle, Morse gets $1 million, and he's been an outstanding buy. 1-2 the count to Jason Worth. 1-0 favor the Nationals first inning. Out of his stretch goes Kuroda. The 1-2 pitch is poked foul off first into the crowd, and Worth is still there. 1-2. Jason Worth with the Dodgers back in 2004, 2005. In 2004, he had 16 home runs, 47 runs batted in. The next year, 7 home runs. He was injured, hurt his shoulder crashing into a wall in Colorado, and then had his hand broken on the first pitch he saw in spring training. 1-2 pitch to Jason, swung on and missed, and down he goes. So for Washington, they thank their lucky stars for Michael Morse, and at the end of half an inning, 1-0 Washington. On a double for a run, and the Dodgers now coming up trying to get it back and then some. It'll be Tony Gwynn in left, Rafael Furcal at short, Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, then Juan Rivera at first. Juan Uribe is at third, Rod Barajas the catcher, Jamie Carroll at second base, and Hiroki Kuroda on the mound. On the mound for Washington, John Lannon, a New York boy from Long Island, went to Siena College, which is up near the capital of New York, Albany, and he was an 11th round pick, 2005. His numbers are really different. The left-hander ready to work now on Tony Gwynn. Lannon turns ready in his first pitch, in for a strike, and the count 0-1. For instance, in 10 home starts, his earned run average is 2.4. On the road in 10 starts, it's about 5. Strike one pitch on the way is a little high. 1-1 the count. Tony Gwynn, meanwhile, hitting .262 with 13 runs batted in, has done a wonderful job day in and day out in left field. 1-1 pitch to Tony. Lannon ready, comes back, pats it, drilled in there for a strike. 1-2 the count. Couple of notes on Lannon. He's pretty fortunate. I don't mean lucky, but he's fortunate. He pitches less than 6 innings, allows more than 3 earned runs, and he's won 5 games that way. Here's the 1-2 pitch and a check swing. It's low. 2-2 the count. For Lannon in 20 starts, Washington is 12-8. Now he's also lost 5 games where he left a game in position to win. 2-2 pitch. Check swing's going to be strike 3. And Ramos throws down to first in time as Gwynn couldn't hold up on a pitch in the dirt. So 1 away. Let's take Washington for you. Their outfield of Nix, Bernardina, and Worth. The infield with Zimmerman, Desmond, Espinosa, and Morse. Behind the plate, Wilson Ramos, and on the mound, John Lannon. A couple of more things about Lannon as he works now on Rafael Furcal. Rafael batting right-handed, and the left-hander Lannon delivers. Fastball hit slowly to short. Nice hop for Ian Desmond, who throws him out easily. 2 down in the first inning, and Andre Ethier coming up. So Lannon has been fortunate to win 5. He's been unfortunate to lose 5. He is a ground ball pitcher, almost 2-1. So that ground ball by Furcal was not an accident. And backing up the ground balls, his infield has turned 18 double plays back of him. They're also very busy. He's given up 17 infield hits, including 3 bunts. So he keeps everybody busy. And here's Andre Ethier. Ethier hitting .299, and the first pitch off the plate, ball 1. Andre Ethier against John Lannon, 2 for 5 with a home run. Lannon comes back with a pitch for a strike. That balances things up nicely. 1 ball and 1 strike to Andre Ethier. And of course, if you've been following the Dodgers, you know Andre struggled against left-handers all year. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball off the plate, ball 2. Ethier is hitting .328 against right-handers, .228 against left-handers. And the 2-1 pitch on the way. Lannon delivers, fastball grounded into right field. I think we've said it before. You wonder why in the world a left-hander ever throws him a fastball. And maybe they're thinking that he's not looking for it, whatever. But if there is one pitch he's been able to handle against left-handers, it's the fastball. So Andre singles to right with 2 down, and Matt Kemp coming up. Matt's average down to .309, 24 home runs, 72 runs batted in. So Matt settling in with Ethier at first, bottom of the first inning, 1-0 in favor of Washington. Lannon ready and delivers, and it's swung on and missed. 0-1 count on Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp needs just 1 more home run to be 25-25. Stolen bases and home runs. He takes a strike, so he's in a hole 0-2. The Dodgers, who have done that, 25 or more home runs, 25 or more stolen bases. Well, Raul Mondesi did it twice. Davey Lopes, Matt Kemp. In fact, Mondesi did it 3 times. And Kirk Gibson. Next pitch is swung on and missed, and down goes Kemp. So John Lannon strikes out 2. They leave Ethier. And at the end of an inning, Nationals 1, Dodgers 0. Struck out 2, gave up a base hit, and is resting comfortably, leading 1-0 as we go to the second inning. Lance Nix, left-hand hitter, left-hand thrower, and does everything else right-handed. Checks in at the plate. Kuroda ready and deals, and the first one a strike, and they count 0-1. Lance Nix, among other things, does very well, hitting .293 against right-handers. That holds up that .271 overall batting average. The strike one pitch is swung on, ground ball, little English on it, picked up by Furcal to throw him out. So Nix rolls to short, 1 away. We can duck in a couple of scores. Arizona is leading Colorado 3-0 in the third. Daniel Hudson going for his 11th win. Jeff Blum hit his first home run of the year. Colorado, by the way, just put Carlos Gonzalez, Cargo, on the DL with a bad wrist. Arizona had to put Stephen Drew, who broke his ankle. He had surgery, so he's lost for the rest of the year. The batter now is Wilson Ramos, and he hits a hopper to shortstop, winding up and letting it fly as for call. And just like that, 2 down. And the batter will be Ian Desmond. Another score, Giants leading Milwaukee 1-0, second inning. Pablo Sandoval knocked in a run. When you look at the Washington infield, and now we have Ian Desmond, the shortstop, their combined strikeout to walk ratio is somewhat startling. They have struck out 249 times and walked only 69. So they're very aggressive, and the first pitch low, ball 1. Desmond has struck out 85 times. He's only walked 19. Espinosa, 93 strikeouts. He's walked 33. Fastball in there, that balances 1-1. So if you also toss in Jason Worth's 93 strikeouts, in fact it's now 94. He struck out in the first inning. You know a little bit about the Washington Nationals. There's a hopper into right center for a base hit for Desmond. Now he would normally be a threat to run, but he's hitting 8th, and you have the pitcher coming up with 2 outs. Desmond has stolen 20 out of 24, so he singles to center. But for Washington, they have struck out more than any other National League club, with the exception of San Diego. So here's John Lannon, hitting about a half a buck, which translates into 2 hits. He does have 2 runs batted in, and he has struck out about half the time. First pitch of the left-hand hitter is in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Washington leading the Dodgers 1-0. We're in the second inning. Washington is a pretty good team. I mean, they're in a very tough division, National League East. Strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's taken in the dirt. Nice block. Barajas right there to push it out in front. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nationals are only 2 games under 500. This could be the best year they've had in the history of the young franchise. One reason is how well they play at home. They are 28-18 at home. But for Davey, they're the other way, 20-32 on the road. Of course, he's only managed for 20 games. The 1-1 pitch on the way, fouled off, 1-2. How are they doing against the West? Well, they're 11-10. Jason Worth is not the leader, not now, not yet, but they're certainly expecting to lead. 1-2 to John Lannon. Desmond held on over there at first by Rivera. Kuroda delivers, and is a high fly ball way over the head of Ethier. He goes to the track, and this thing, believe it or not, is over the scoreboard. John Lannon clears the right field scoreboard, and the Nationals lead 3-0. For the Nationals, their 91st home run of the year. We'll have to look it up and see whether Lannon had hit one out before. For the boy from Siena College, Albany, New York, clears the right field scoreboard. They're going to give him the silent treatment. They're going to ignore him completely. Like ho-hum, and now here they come. It's always fun to see. So it is 3-0 in favor of the Nationals on a home run by the pitcher, John Lannon. In looking it up, that would be his first career home run. So there'll be calls, I'm sure, to Long Island. Hey, Mom and Dad, I just hit a home run. Yeah, no kidding. A little foul ball off third. That will be back into the stands. 1-1. For the Lennon Marching and Chowder Society, we show his swing, and then we show the ball clearing the scoreboard in right field. So Lannon puts himself out in front 3-0. Little sheepish grin on his ankle. Who knows what it's like to be a pitcher and hit a home run right there nearby. Bernardina, a fly ball deep to left field, leading off the game. Roger hit it hard, and Gwynn just did catch it in front of the scoreboard in left field. Roger Bernardina, and the 1-2 pitch on the way is swung on, and Miss Splitter got him. Down he goes. That would be strikeout number 2 for Hiroki Kuroda. But for John Lannon, number 1, a home run in the big leagues, and it's 3-0 Nationals. It is brought to you by your local Mazda dealer. 3-0 in favor of the Nationals. Bottom of the second inning, it'll be Juan Rivera, Juan Uribe, and then Rod Barajas against home run John Lannon. We were talking about contrasts with Lannon, how well he pitches at home, how rocky things get for him on the road. He's kind of round-shouldered as he looks in to get a sign. And the first pitch, fastball away, ball 1. When Lannon is pitching in the National League East, you have 2, one pleasant, one a nightmare for him. The 1-0 pitch, that's outside, ball 2. Against Atlanta in his young career, he is 7-4. That's okay. But against Philadelphia, he is 1-10. That's the Philadelphia story for John Lannon. The 2-0 pitch on the way. John works it way outside. Ball 3. 3-0 the count. Juan Rivera hitting .250. 1 home run, 1 run batted in, and the next pitch high. So Rivera walks on 4 pitches, and the batter now will be Juan Uribe. Don't forget, $1 Dodger dogs are back for every Saturday home game in July. Join us tomorrow at 7:10. Enjoy the Dodger Stadium Classic for just $1 each. Compliments of our good pals at Farmer John. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Juan Uribe has never faced Lannon, but he'll look at him right now. Left-hander to the plate and fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Uribe struggling as he has all year, hitting .205, 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Lannon out of a stretch. Uribe waiting. Rivera off the bag at first. A little ground ball to the right side. They will get one. The return to first, not in time. Ball was just not hit hard enough to get a double play. But remember, Lannon is a double play pitcher. He's had 18 turn behind him. So Uribe hits into a force play. 4-6. That would be Espinosa to Desmond. And the batter now, Rod Barajas. Barajas is just 0 for 1 against Lannon. Rod hitting .209, 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Lannon said, looks over at Uribe, comes to the plate low, ball 1. 3-0 Nationals. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Barajas having a look down to Tim Wallach, see if there might be a play on. Barajas is basically a fly ball hitter, but he's up against a ground ball pitcher. So let's see. Lannon backs off the rubber. Because he is basically a fly ball hitter, Barajas has only grounded into 3 double plays. So Lannon straddling the rubber. Lannon fighting his control, and he is not a strikeout pitcher at all. He only had 62 strikeouts coming in. Fastball in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. John plants the left foot. He's 6'5", 200. He'll be 27 in August. As we said, Siena College in Albany. Rivera at first with 1 out, replaced by Uribe on the force, and the pitch in the dirt, blocked nicely by Ramos, and a 2-ball, 1 strike count. Good play by Wilson behind the plate. When Lannon talks about influence on his life, he points to his dad, who had been his coach since he was 6 years old. 2-1. Now the left-hander ready. Back he comes and got it in there. And a 2-2 count. Interesting, too, growing up in Long Island, John Lannon was a rabid Yankees fan. And to quote him, I loved Don Mattingly. And now he's trying to beat him. Don in the Dodger dugout watching the left-hander. 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's in the dirt, blocked again by Ramos. 3-2 the count, 1 out, bottom of the second inning, 3-0 Nationals. Morse looks over to see, do you want me to hold Rivera? And the answer is yes. So Morse on the bag, Uribe a very short lead, and the 3-2 pitch on the way. Hit very high, ball 4. So for Lannon, it's a struggle. He can't throw the boy by very many hitters, although he did have 2 strikeouts in the first inning. But his numbers tell you during the year, he has walked 43 and he has struck out 64. So it's tough for him. 2 on, 1 out, and Jamie Carroll checking in. He and Desmond coming to the mound to talk to him for the moment. Jamie hitting .288. He has 8 runs batted in. Carroll hitting .269 against left-hand pitching. 8 runs batted in. For Rod Barajas, who rarely walks, he takes 4 and goes to first. Carroll, meanwhile, takes the strike. Rod Barajas has now walked only 9 times this year. 9 and well over 200 plate appearances. 3-0 Washington, bottom of the second inning. Out of the stretch goes Lannon, and the left-hander delivers, and this one is low. 1-1. It was said for years, first in war, first in peace, and last in the American League. That's what they used to say about the Washington Senators. But now they have the Washington Nationals trying to turn things around. Lannon out of a stretch, looks at the runners, the pitch to Jamie, and that's a strike on the inside corner. 1-2. Jamie perhaps unhappy with the call, just backs away from home plate. Beautiful evening, 71 degrees. When you read about the weather in the east, you shudder for what they're going through. 1-2 pitch on the way, fouled off. They were talking about New York, for instance, saying with the humidity, it was 112 with the humidity. Interesting thing, too, when the weather gets hot, and this is a proven fact, the hotter it gets, the more players, managers, coaches are kicked out of games. They get even hotter and more impatient. 1-2 the count. Lannon ready, delivers, and it's low. 2-2. Basically, Lannon with a 2-seam fastball. He has a curveball and a changeup. And that's about it. Lannon always talks about the memorable night he was pitching against John Smoltz, who was on his way to his 3,000th strikeout. Fastball hit to third. They go to second for 1. Back to first. Double play. There it is. The 19th double play turned in behind John Lannon. And it went around the horn. Zimmerman to Espinosa to Morse. And it's still 3-0 National. Third inning, big 2-run home run by the pitcher John Lannon. In the background, if you remember a Broadway show after the comic strip, Lil Abner. And in that show was a wonderful song all about the General Jubilation Tea Corn Poem. And Nancy B. Heffley has dusted that one off. I haven't heard Jubilation Tea Corn Poem in quite a while. Anyway, 3-0 in favor of Washington. It'll be Espinosa, Zimmerman, and Morse in that order. Danny fly deep to left field in the first inning. 3 runs, 4 hits for Washington, and the first pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Espinosa, with his long fly ball for an out, pointed up the fact he's getting close to 20 home runs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Most home runs by a rookie second baseman all time, Dan Uggla, at 27 for the Marlins 5 years ago. And the next pitch foul back, 1-2. The great Joe Gordon of the Yankees, his first year he had 25. And push him up, as they used to call him, push him up, Tony Lazzari had 18 with the Yankees his first year. The 1-2 pitch on the way from Kuroda, and that's taken. Strike 3 called, and down goes Espinosa. 1 away, 3rd strikeout for Hiroki Kuroda.
Third baseman, Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah, the story about Tony Lazzari, with that Italian name, of course, he was from San Francisco, same city that produced 2 other famous Italian players, Frankie Crosetti and Joe DiMaggio. Anyway, way back, there were so many immigrants first seeing a baseball game, and there'd be a runner at first or second, and Lazzari would come up, and some of the Italian immigrants began hollering, not to move him along or pick him up. They would say, push him up a notch to second base or to third or to get him home. And for years he had that rather unusual nickname, push him up Tony Lazzari. Well, here's Ryan Zimmerman with a strike 1 count. Kuroda ready and deals, and a good fastball is swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. Ryan Zimmerman singled sharply in the first inning and then promptly stole second. He's working on a 5-year contract which will keep him in Washington through next year. Strike 2 pitch on the way to the right-hand hitter is taken low. 1-2 the count. Ryan Zimmerman, among other things, has been Mr. Clutch. He was hitting .417 with 2 out and men in scoring position. One thing he has not done so much this year compared to last year, he's not pulling the ball as much, even though he did single a left in the first inning. Kuroda delivers and he fouls it off. The statistic people say that pulling the ball, he's down 30% this year from last. Back in 2009, he really was a complete player. He was an all-star. He got his first Gold Glove. He also picked up his first silver bat. Right-hand batter in the 1-2 pitch. Zimmerman takes way outside. He's 6'3", 215. Kuroda being very careful with him. He hit as many as 33 home runs in 2009. Last year dropped to 25, and he's hit 5 so far this year. 2-2 the count to Ryan Zimmerman. He's been banged up. He's only been in 40 games. And promptly grounds one up the middle for a base hit. So Zimmerman 2 for 2, single to left, single to center.
Number 38, Michael Morris.
And Michael Morris, who doubled in the run in the first inning, coming up. Dodgers certainly didn't expect Ryan Zimmerman to run, but run he did. Stole second and came in. I mean, here's a fella who stole 4 bases last year, 2 the year before. So that was a shock when he took off. So now Michael Morris, who doubled, blistered the ball into the left field corner. Right-hand batter waiting at the plate. 1 out, 3-0 Washington. Kuroda turns, and he's been burned once. Keeps an eye on Zimmerman. Now Hiroki delivers, and it is swung on and missed. Fastball up. It was 92 coming in. 0-1 the count to Michael Morris. Morris tells a great story. Once upon a time, he was a shortstop, and he was in a restaurant with a bunch of other young fellas down in Fort Lauderdale, and lo and behold, the kids looked at each other and said, "Is that who I think it is over there at that table?" Next pitch is swung on, fouled away, 0-2. And they agreed, yes, it is. Alex Rodriguez. So you can imagine a couple of kids looking over at a superstar. And of course, in those days, Morse was trying to play shortstop. He went over, had a chance to talk to A-Rod, who picked up the tab at his table, gave him some advice. And next thing you know, Michael made it, but he wasn't a very good shortstop, but he has certainly found a home at first base. 0-2 the count to Zimmerman. Morse, right-hand batter waiting, pulls up on a pitch high, and it has to be high. He's 6'5". Morse has been very, very dangerous for whatever reason in the first 3 innings of his game. He has 17 home runs. 9 of them have been hit in the first 3 innings. Kuroda out of his stretch, looks over at first, and decides to go over there. Zimmerman didn't have much of a lead. One and two the count to Michael Morse. 6'5", 225. Kuroda very careful. And the 1-2 pitch coming up inside. 2-2 the count. Michael Morse, originally drafted by the White Sox, but he made his career really with the Mariners. And then in that deal that sent Ryan Langerhans to Seattle, Michael came over to Washington last year, and he's putting up good numbers. Hitting .314. 3-0 Washington in the third. Morse tired of waiting and backs out. Again, Kuroda very deliberate. Zimmerman short lead. And the 2-2 pitch to Morse. Swung on and fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nationals got a run in the first inning. Morse doubled in Zimmerman. And then in the second inning with 2 out, Desmond singled. And John Lannon, the left-hand hitting pitcher, cleared the scoreboard in right field. His first career home run, and Washington leads 3-0. 2-2 the count. Kuroda ready. There goes Zimmerman. The pitch fouled away. So Morse just did get a piece of it. Ryan going back to first base, looking over at Bo Porter, the third base coach, to see if something be on again. Michael Morse lives in Fort Lauderdale, but he was born in Jamaica. 2-2. Here comes Kuroda, another high set up around the bill of the cap. Now to the plate, and it is swung on and missed. Just ran away. So Morse strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Hiroki Kuroda. And of course, watching Kuroda tantalized with that fastball just off the outside corner, I'm sure there are a lot of thoughts going through Hiroki's mind, because his name is constantly mentioned in the press that he possibly could be traded. He has an interpreter, and he speaks English reasonably well, but with the interpreter, he knows exactly what's going on. Hiroki out of a stretch, a look at first, and with 2 out, here's Jason Worth. He takes off speed in for a strike, and the count 0-1. When Jason Worth was having big years in Philadelphia, you know who he praised? Davey Lopes. Davey, remember, was coaching when he was with the Phils. Jason fouls it off. And to give the further compliment to Davey Lopes, Jason Worth said, "I would say Davey Lopes was probably the best coach I ever had. He is awesome." So Jason with a no-ball 2-strike count, because he had some pretty good years with the Phillies. The strike 2 pitch in the dirt. There goes Zimmerman. The throw down, and it got him. Jamie Carroll makes the tag. Good play by Barajas to dig it out of the dirt and nail Zimmerman. So no runs a hit, nobody left, and at the end of 2.5 innings, 3-0 Nationals. To nothing in favor of the Nationals. Hiroki Kuroda followed by Tony Gwynn and then Rafael Furcal. Remember earlier we were talking about John Lannon and the fact that lifetime he is 1-10 against Philadelphia. Well, he's got a lot of thoughts about Philadelphia. His pitch to Kuroda in for a strike. You turn the clock back just about an anniversary, July 26th. 2007, he was making his major league debut against Philadelphia. He works away, 1 ball and 1 strike the count. He struck out Ryan Howard for his first major league strikeout. That's not a bad way to begin, but things got a little hairy because Ryan Howard hit a home run off him. Then he hit Ryan Howard after hitting Chase Utley. And Hunter Wendelstedt, the plate umpire, threw John Lannon out of the game. So it's a rare time when a fella is kicked out of his first major league game. That's great, a debut. There have been 4 others ejected in their major league debut. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Kuroda, and that's down the pipe, 3-2. Among others, Andy Carter, Sid Robertson, Doug Johns, Aaron Boone. Yeah, he was kicked out in his major league debut. 3-2 pitch is taken, strike 3 call. So Kuroda caught looking, down he goes. 3rd strikeout for Lannon. 1 away, Tony Gwynn coming up. You know, Sunday is Dodger Cap Day. Dodgers and Nationals at 1:10. Fans receive a blue and white Dodger cap. Compliments of Amtrak. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion or call 866-DODGERS. Tony Gwynn struck out in the first inning. 0 for 1. Though 0 for 2 briefly against Lannon. Left-hander against left-hander. And the first pitch off the plate, ball 1. Of course, just thinking about being kicked out, making your major league debut. How about being kicked out when you haven't even made your major league debut? The next pitch in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Dodgers had a left-hander named Mike Kekich. Dodgers were playing in Houston. 1-1 pitch in there for a strike, 1-2. Some of the Dodgers were giving the plate umpire a bad time in the Houston Astrodome. And when the plate umpire finally walked over, he had no idea who was hollering, but he was going to throw somebody out. So he picked poor Mike Kekich. The pitch high, ball 2-2-2. So Michael Dennis Kekich, a left-hander, was kicked out of a game before he ever got in one in Houston. Here comes Lannon with a 2-2 pitch to Gwynn, and that's low. Ball 3. 3-2 the count. 1 out, third inning. Rafael Furcal on deck. Nationals got a run in the first. Lannon hit a 2-run home run in the second. Gwynn trying to get aboard any way he can. 3-2 the count. John Reddy delivers, and it is high. Ball 4. So for Lannon, it's typical in the sense fighting his control. He walked 2 men in the second inning, so he has walked 3. He has struck out 3, and he's allowed 1 hit. So here's Rafael Furcal, grounded to short in the first inning. Rafael hitting 170. Lannon decides to go over and take a step away from Gwynn. Tony Gwynn has stolen 13 out of 16, so Lannon knows all about him. Tony held on by Michael Morse. Lannon set and decides to go over there again. So Lannon keeping an eye on Gwynn. Dodgers trying to get back into it. It's 3-0 Nationals in the bottom of the third inning. Lannon set, a bluff by Gwynn, and the pitch outside. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Tim Wallach perhaps hanging out a sign 1-0. Furcal meanwhile asking for time, and Tony Gwynn takes the lead. Lannon set, looks over at first, now to the plate, very high, and he's behind 2-0. One of the things about Lannon, we were talking before, 10 games at home, his earned run average less than 2.5. 10 games on the road, it's 5. And another thing, he has given up 7 home runs on the road, only 2 at home. The pitch hit down the right field line, slicing foul, and back into the stands, and the count 2-1. The opposition at home hitting only in the 220s against Lannon, but out on the road they're hitting 303. 2-1 the count. We'll see if the Dodgers play hit and run here. Lannon looks. Gwynn is not going. A bunt up along third, foul, and the count 2-2. So Furcal not slap bunting, but dumping one, but it went foul up along third. So Gwynn returns. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Nationals. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. 2-2 to Furcal. Somehow trying to find the answer to the puzzle. How can you come back once you've been out on the DL? This is his 14th game since coming off. There goes Gwynn, and a ground foul. Tony, a belly whopper, but to no avail. So Tony jogging back with a little of Dodger real estate hanging around the belt buckle. That's the problem with a buckle. You go head first. It's like a shovel. And the next thing you know, you have some dirt down inside your pants, and that makes for a rather uncomfortable 9 innings. 2-2 the count. Lannon looks. Lannon delivers. Furcal takes low. Ball 3. So Lannon fighting his control. He walked Rivera and Barajas in the second. He has walked Gwynn in the third, and he's gone 3-2 to Furcal. Left-hander set, ready, comes to the plate, runner going, ground foul outside of first, and Rafael is still there. Been a tough year for Furcal, absolutely. Series up in San Francisco, sliding into third base head first. He breaks his thumb. Then he had the strained left oblique, which is another way of saying he hurt the muscles around the rib cage. So he's missed 63 games. 3-2 the count to Raphael. Gwynn goes, and there's a high pop fly on the infield. It will be the shortstop, Ian Desmond, making the catch. So Furcal pops it up. 2 down in the third, and Andre Ethier coming up. Ethier got a fastball to his liking, stroked it into right field for a base hit in the first inning. Nationals 3, Dodgers nothing, bottom of the third inning. Ethier 3 for 6 with a home run against Lannon. So that gets his average, that base hit to right field, back up over the 300 line. There goes Gwynn, and the pitch is grounded to first. Stepping on the bag is Morse, and that's that. Poor Tony Gwynn. For the second time, he goes into second base and neither time of play. So he's a little beaten up, and at the end of 3-0 Nationals. Go to the fourth inning. Jason Worth, Lance Nix, and Wilson Ramos in that order. Coming into this season, Jason Worth was one of only 2 players in Major League Baseball that had increased his slugging percentage in each of his last 4 years. The other, Scott Rowland. And by the way, Scott Rowland just went on the DL today as well. However, Worth's run is almost coming to an end in his first year with Washington. 1 ball and no strike. And he hits a flare just by Furcal. So Jason a single. Worth 6'5", 215, but a couple of things you have to remember about him. Number one, he can run. He has stolen 11 out of 14, and he's the number 1 player in the National League going from first to third on a base hit. Number 1. Big Jason at 6'5", 215 out of Illinois. Lance Nix grounded to short. The right-hander who does everything that way except play baseball. They're going to keep an eye on Worth. Nix originally a 4th-round pick by the Rangers 11 years ago. And ball 1. He's an even 6, 200-pounder. Hits left-handers very well. No, in fact, check me. He hits right-handers well. He really struggles against left-handers. Likes to hit early in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, I figured. 1-1 to count. Lance out of Houston, Texas, lives in Midland. You may remember his younger brother, Jason Nix, came up with Colorado. For Lance, he looks like a football player, and he was. He was a quarterback in high school. But he wanted to spend his career in baseball, and he's doing pretty well at it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Remember Brian Giles? Ball 2. Brian went from Cleveland to Pittsburgh to San Diego. Well, if you watch Lance Nix a lot, you might very well remember Brian Giles. Two and 1 to count, and that's a little foul that could go out of play. For Lance Nix, he is one of those players who just will not quit on a fly ball. He's crashed into walls just about everywhere he's played. And what happened? Well, he wound up, he's had surgery on both shoulders. 2 and 2 the count. We're in the 4th, 3-0 Nationals. Big blow, 2-run home run by the pitcher, John Lannon. And that runs it to 3 and 2. Last year, Nix hit .313 against left-handers, .289 against right-handers. Hitting a solid .270. 12 home runs. Runner not going, and another foul ball. Several years ago when he was in the minor leagues, they talked a lot about Lance Nix and his ability to steal bases. This year he's only stolen 2. Well, with a 3 and 2 count, and you have Jason Worth, who has stolen 11 out of 14. We'll see if Davey Johnson runs him. Worth short lead and does not go. Barajas thought he would go, then he thought instead it's ball 4. So just like that, runners at first and second, nobody out, and Wilson Ramos coming up. The catcher grounded to short in the second inning. So Kuroda struggling a wee bit here as he gives up his first walk. Down 3-0, and Ramos ready to check in. Wilson Ramos from Venezuela, originally signed by the Twins, came up last year with the Twins, and then moved over to the Nationals. 2 on, nobody out, and a strike. Ramos with the shortstop Ian Desmond hitting back of him. Ramos has sacrificed 3 times. As we mentioned, the Nationals like to bunt. We'll see if they try it with Ramos. Worth and Nix out on the lines. Nobody out. No play. Ramos is another fella. They can't figure out exactly why. He's hitting .320 at home, but he's a completely different hitter on the road, batting .197. 0-1. And he lifts a fly ball to Ethier. Worth will tag up, figure. Ethier for the catch, and Jason's going to come over. No doubt about that. So Ramos, a fly ball to right. That moves Worth to third with one out. The batter will be Ian Desmond. And it's time to get you thinking a little bit. Here's our trivia question. Which former Dodger is the all-time home run leader for the Washington Senators? The Washington Senators. Well, we'll give you the answer in a little while. And here's Ian Desmond. Desmond hitting just .228, 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in, with runners at first and third. Now, he is a very good bunter. They have to be careful about him. He has 8 sacrifices. We'll see what they do with Worth. And ball 1. So Jason Worth walking off the bag. Lance Nix at first. All eyes on Ian Desmond out of Sarasota, Florida. Signed 7 years ago by the Montreal Expos, who in turn became the Washington Nationals. 1 ball and no strikes. It's a good count for him. He's hitting .295 in this count. Now a strike, 1-1. Desmond hitting 8th with the pitcher behind him, and he's taking a long look at Bo Porter. When you look at the numbers and you see 8 sacrifices, that makes you wonder whether they would try squeeze. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jason Worth poised, not coming, in the dirt. Nice block by Barajas. 2-1 the count. Well, you got a lot of things here. First of all, let's check Desmond as far as contact. He's had about 350 plate appearances, and he has struck out 85. So it's a manager's count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Nix at first, Worth at third. On the base paths, Kuroda very busy. A fake at Worth and a look at Desmond, with Nix right on the bag. Hiroki has made 66 pitches. That means 15 so far here in this inning. 2-1. Pitch out, kind of. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Barajas was just setting off the corner, and maybe he just kind of lost his balance. Can't imagine pitching out 2-1. See where he is? Nope. He was just looking for a pitch outside. But now they weren't doing anything 2-1. Let's see about 3-1. What might force the issue with 1 out is the presence of the pitcher, even though he did hit a home run. But Worth has been very quiet. Same for Nix over at first. Didn't play hit and run. Will they play run and hit? Nix goes. Missed at the plate. The throw down is in time to get him, and Jason Worth had to hang out at third. I really thought, especially as well as Worth runs, I really thought they were running Nix and it was going to be a delayed double steal. Especially, oh well, high fastball, so Desmond helped out there. Carroll just makes the tag, and Worth still at third base. So Desmond has worked it all the way 3-2. Foul back. Even though John Lannon hit that home run back in the second inning, he certainly cannot be considered a good hitting pitcher. He's had 3 hits in 36 at-bats, striking out about half the time. So you wonder, how badly do they really want the 8th hitter with 2 out and the pitcher coming up and a runner at third? And ball 4, slider. So John Lannon with first and third coming up. Last time up in the second inning, a big thrill for the boy from Long Island as he hit one long over the scoreboard for his first career home run. The last Nationals pitcher, by the way, to hit a home run, well, he's here taken in the game, Livan Hernandez, and he did it last year. But of course, Hernandez is a good hitting pitcher. He has 10 career home runs. And the first home run that Livan Hernandez ever hit in the big leagues was against a pretty good left-hand pitcher by the name of Tommy Glavine. So here's Lannon. First and third, 2 out, 3-0 National. And ball 1. Kuroda struggling a little bit, but he still has Worth at third. Desmond now at first. He's stolen 20 out of 24. But you don't figure to see any running if they fail in the run. They'd have the pitcher coming up leading off in the 5th. Of course, again, you look at Desmond at first, and Worth, is restless coming down the line from third. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's going to go down the line foul. 1-2 the count to Lannon. In the inning, Worth singled, Nix walked, Ramos fly ball to right field. Worth advanced to third, and it looked like the Nationals had something going when Desmond came up. But on a 3-1 count, they ran Nix. That changed the whole inning. If Nix isn't running and Desmond walks, the bases are loaded. Nationals lead 3-0 here in the 4th. 1-2. And got him. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. Much ado about nothing in the 4th, and at the end of 3.5, 3-0 Nationals. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by El Pollo Loco. Try a 2-piece leg and thigh combo with 2 small classic sides and a drink for $5 at El Pollo Loco. By Corona. and by Time Warner Cable. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Nationals scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second. They've had at least one man on in every inning, and they lead 3-0 as John Lannon prepares to pitch to Matt Kemp, Juan Rivera, and then Juan Uribe. Matt Kemp struck out in the first inning, so Matt 0 for 1. Matt's last 4 at-bats, he has struck out all 4 times. Tim Lincecum nailed him 3. And he went down tonight. And ball 1. Matt has struck out 8 times in the last 3 games plus tonight. So you know he has to be pressing a little bit or just being tired or both. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to count. By striking out in the first inning, he's now struck out 92 times. 2-0. In there. By the way, for the Dodgers, this is game number 99. Tomorrow night, number 100. Ball 3. The pitching for the series, Ted Lilly tomorrow night against Tom Grossolano. And then Sunday, Jason Marquis and Chad Billingsley. And ball 4. So John Lannon, fighting his control, has walked 4 in 3 innings plus. And the batter will be Juan Rivera, who walked in the second inning. A lot of ball players in spring training will sit down and think a bit and then make a list of goals, things they want to try and attain that particular year. John Lannon did that, but he also has a puppy named Bailey. That's a strike. And Bailey, like every puppy, likes to chew on things. And Bailey got John Lannon's wallet and began to chew and chew. Made some little holes in the credit card. Didn't destroy the money, but he just tore to pieces the list of goals for the year. Do you think the puppy was telling him something? 0-2 the count. 3-0 Nationals here in the fourth inning. Kemp at first, Rivera the hitter, and Uribe on deck. Oh, 2. Fouled away. We had a puppy once when I was little. Actually, I was in college, and I thought I'd really look good. I bought a little fedora, I guess, with a little brush in it. Really Joe College. Came home, and my dog started growling. Oh, wow. Took the hat off. It was recognized me, put the hat on. Dog growled. So I put the hat on a chair and went to have dinner with the family. I had no hat. Came back. That dog destroyed the hat. And you want to talk about criticism. I said, I'm just not going to look Joe College. 1-2 to count to Juan Rivera. 3-0 Nationals. Bottom of the fourth inning. The Nationals 13.5 games behind Philadelphia. Dodgers 13.5 games behind the Giants. Kemp at first, and the pitch to Rivera. Hard ground ball fair down the line. Caron's back towards the infield, so Desmond has to pick it up, and by that time Rivera is into second base with a double, and the Dodgers are in business. So Juan Rivera rips one over third down the line. For Rivera, that would be his second double. So the Dodgers down by 3, but they have 2 in scoring position, which brings up a point. Neither team has done well with runners in scoring position and 2 out. But then again, that's the toughest time to get a hit. Here you have nobody out. Uribe hit into a force play in the second inning. Ball 1. One and 0 to Juan, hitting .204. Big bounce at his short, under and over and through. 2 runs will score. Desmond with runners in scoring position. I guess you'd say to yourself, he should have at least kept the ball on the infield. But he really came up empty. So on a ground ball to short, the Dodgers get a break. Take another look. Big high bouncer, and he's going to short hop on the dead run and will draw an error, deservedly so. He made that a much tougher play than it was. So the error scores 2. Dodgers very much back in the game. Had the tying run at first and Rod Barajas at the plate. So Kemp walks, Rivera doubles, and the error by the shortstop, and it's 3-2 Nationals. Rod walked in the second inning. For Desmond, the shortstop, that is his 14th error. And a high pop fly around second base, handled there by Danny Espinosa. So 1 away, and Jamie Carroll coming up. Three runs, 6 hits for the Nationals, 2 runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. They were talking about the most aggressive hitters. The most aggressive going after the first pitch is Carlos Pena of the Cubs. Of all players now, we're talking in the major leagues. And of all players in the major leagues, the least aggressive, which is really not a good title. Let's say the most patient hitter is Jamie Carroll. He will take a first pitch strike, as he just did, about, it's somewhere around 57% of the time. He will not swing at that first pitch. What's the percentage of when he does? 2%, that's all. 0-1. And ground ball to short. Desmond having a very bad time. Ian Desmond from Sarasota. One might have been considered a little difficult. That was routine. So he commits 2 errors in the inning. Dodgers getting a couple of big breaks. Lannon does what he normally does. He's gotten ground balls, but his shortstop has been unable to make the play. So for Desmond, 2 errors tonight. That's 13 errors for him this year. 3-2 Nationals. And here's Hiroki Kuroda with 1 out, showing bunt in the air and foul. 0-1. Kuroda has 2 sacrificed bunts this year. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Nationals. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. 1 out. And the bunt is down. Good bunt. Play has to go to first. So Kuroda moves his men along. So Uribe is now at third. Carroll is at second. And with 2 out, Tony Gwynn. Davy Johnson down in the dugout taking it all in. And of course, Davy was a terrific player and an infielder, but he's remarkable. I mean, he has a degree in math from Trinity University. He attended Johns Hopkins to study statistics and probability. When he was with Baltimore, he once ran a program that predicted how many runs the Orioles would produce based on different lineups. And after all of that, he brought it to Earl Weaver, who probably tore it up and threw it away. Yeah, really. Ball 1. I remember the Dodgers had a great statistician, Alan Roth, when we were in Brooklyn. And he would combine and compile what you just couldn't believe, the knowledge that was in there. And he would bring it into Charlie Dressen, and Charlie Dressen would say, "Thanks, Alan." Alan would leave. Charlie would throw it right in the garbage. 1 ball and no strikes. Little roller wide of first. The pitcher has to cover, and they make the play. So a tough play at first, but they finally make it as Lannon gets over there. And at the end of 4, Nationals 3, Dodgers 2. Supports charitable initiative during the season on Prime Ticket. We proudly support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. For more information, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. 3-2 Nationals, 5th inning. Bernardino, Espinosa, and Zimmerman against Kuroda. Right, 0-1. They're talking about Davy Johnson and why would the manager throw the stuff away? Why did Charlie Dressen throw it away? Because the old-time managers could care less about numbers on a sheet of paper. 1-1. All they did was in their mind, is this fella a high ball hitter, low ball hitter? Is this pitcher's strength, low ball or high ball? And never mind giving him numbers and how they hit in the past. Nope. Matchups, that's all they thought of. 1-1. Fouled off. 1-2. Roger Bernardino flied to left field, struck out, 0 for 2. He's stolen 16 out of 18, so if he gets aboard, he'll put a lot of pressure on. in the dirt. Kuroda now has made 76 pitches. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Nationals. They did all their scoring in the first 2 innings. The Dodgers 2 runs, 2 hits, pretty much because of the 2 errors by shortstop Ian Desmond. Ball 3. Kuroda, as you know, rarely walks very many, but he has walked 2 tonight. Ground foul. Bernardina, as the leadoff man, has only walked 18 times. And lifted to left field. Gwynn going back and over. Gwynn picks it off. Bernardina twice has put Tony Gwynn on the track. And Espinosa coming up also sent him to the left field track. Remember the trivia question? Which former Dodger, the all-time home run leader for the Washington Senators? Big Frank Howard. He was something. And here's Espinosa, flied to left, struck out. Ball 1. Frank Howard hit a home run in the '63 World Series against Whitey Ford. It went up in the orange level in left field. He hit him a long way. Now back. One ball and 1 strike. Danny Espinosa hitting .241. Went right after him with a fastball at 93. 1-2 the count. Espinosa, a switch hitter. His numbers say he's a little better batting right-handed, but his power is certainly as a left-hand batter. He has 17 home runs. 2-2. Game 1 of the homestand, and it should be a dandy. We have the weekend with Washington, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights with the Colorado Rockies, and then next weekend with Arizona. Last we heard, Arizona was leading Colorado, but that was pretty early. It was Arizona 3, Colorado nothing. Arizona started the day 4 games behind the Giants. And that's pop foul, out of play. Still 3-2. Espinosa from Santa Ana went to Long Beach State. He followed Troy Tulowitzki as the dirtbag shortstop. He played with Evan Longoria. An even 6'1", 90. Only 24. Curve ball got him. Off-speed breaking ball. Espinosa frozen. Down he goes. 2 out in the 5th inning. Take a look at this. Up there, and then it just dipped in. That's 6 strikeouts for Hiroki Kuroda. We can tell you Colorado has come from behind. They're leading the D-backs 5-4. Bottom of the 7th inning. Colorado 10 back. So the Giants, they were winning early. We'll check and see what they're doing. Ryan Zimmerman, single to left, single to center. Stole a base, was thrown out stealing. The Brewers have turned it around. They're leading the Giants 4-2 in the 6th inning. 0-1 to Ryan. Big bouncer foul. Ryan Zimmerman had to grow up in a hurry. His mom, Cheryl, in 1995, discovered that she had multiple sclerosis. He was about 16 years old. She's been in a wheelchair. So he had a lot to do growing up. A lot of responsibility. Just missed. Hiroki thought he had him. One and two the count to Ryan Zimmerman. Way off the plate. Ryan has a brother, Sean. So when mom was sidelined, they would do the laundry, they'd make dinner. And as he said, it made us grow up a lot quicker than the other kids in the neighborhood. Got him. So Zimmerman caught looking at 7 strikeouts for Hiroki Kuroda. And at the end of 4.5 innings, 3-2 Nationals. Ticket is brought to you by K-Swiss Tubes, the official shoe of muscles everywhere. And by Chase, deposit checks from your smartphone with quick deposit. Take a step forward and chase what matters. For the Dodgers, Rafael Furcal. He'll be followed by Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp. 3-2 Nationals, bottom of the 5th inning. Two and 0 to Rafael. Grounded to short, popped to short. That's in there. 2 balls and 1 strike. And a little ground ball. Espinosa. And that'll do it for Furcal. 1 away. Say, be sure to follow the Dodgers with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. You'll get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Just text @BAT to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com for details. 1 away, 5th inning, 3-2 Nationals. Andre Ethier single to right, grounded to first. Oh, and 1 starts him with a fastball. breaking ball for a strike. 0-2. Fastball just did get a little bit of that thing. He almost got it by him. No balls and 2 strikes. Ethier, 9 home runs, 44 runs batted in. And fouled away. For Ethier, been a while. This is the 22nd. Well, not quite 2 weeks since he hit a home run against San Diego. 0-2. 1-2. Looked like a change. 2-2. It was 81. And down he goes on the breaking ball. So Ethier strikes out, goes 1 for 3. And the batter, Matt Kemp. Kemp struck out and walked, scored a run. The Nationals scored a run in the first inning when Zimmerman singled, stole second, and Morse doubled him in. In the second inning, Desmond singled and Lannon homered, and the Nationals led 3-0. Desmond committed 2 errors in the fourth inning, so the Dodgers scored 2 runs on 1 hit. 0-1 to Matt. Matt batting .308, 24 home runs, 72 runs batted in. Chases that one. 0-2. Dodgers having a very tough time scoring runs, especially this month. They're averaging a hair more than 2 runs a game. And they have 2 tonight, only really because of Desmond's 2 errors. And for Mattingly, tough pill to swallow. Dodgers in the month of July averaging a little more than 2 runs a game. They are 7-9. If you go back to 1968, the Dodgers averaged 2 runs a game in the month of July. They were 7-20 that year. And there goes Matt. Strikeout number 5. So at the end of 5, Nationals 3, Dodgers 2. night at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. They had a sellout crowd to salute the most popular player by the name of Harold Pee Wee Reese. He was celebrating his birthday, which reminds us to remind you, tomorrow night, another great popular Dodger, Don Drysdale's memory. We'll dust it off and salute him on what would have been his 75th birthday. Hope you'll be out here with us. Let's go back to this one. Tough 3-2 ball game. The Nationals scored early. Dodgers came back with 2. Now it'll be Michael Morse, followed by Jason Worth, and then Lance Nix. 4-1. Michael Morse doubled in Ryan Zimmerman in the first inning with a bullet into the left field corner. Then last time up he struck out. 1-0 the count. Now back. And popped up around the mound. Kuroda's going to get, and then at the last minute he allows Uribe to come in. So 1 away on that pop fly. Now Jason Worth struck out, single to center, 1-4-2. So far now, Kuroda has made 96 pitches, and he's in the 6th inning. Jason Worth certainly comes by athletic genes naturally. His mom competed in the long jump and 100 meters Olympic trials. She was a world-class sprinter. His dad was a star receiver at Illinois State, and he also spent a year as an outfielder in the Cardinal organization. 0-1. And considering the fact he's 6'5", yes, he was a good high school basketball player. I think he would agree when you say Jason has been a huge disappointment for the Washington Nationals. A tremendous contract, and he just hasn't been able to do much. Hitting .219. And that's popped in the air. Here comes Rivera, hoping it'll come back, and it does. So Rivera handles a foul ball. Worth 1 for 3 as he walks back. And Lance Nix coming up. Grounded to short and walked. Of course, a lot of the players, let's face it, they are very happy about Jason Worth. Not that he's struggling. I mean, they're happy about that $126 million deal he signed. As far as labor relations are concerned, little flare, Uribe. What was it President John Kennedy said? A rising tide raises all boats. Well, Worth raised a lot of salaries. 3-2 Nationals. occurred in the fourth inning as Uribe hit a high chopper. Ian Desmond tried to short hop it on the run. It went by him for a huge error that gave the Dodgers 2 runs. They're only 2, but they got on the board and now trail only 3-2. Desmond, for good measure, made another error that inning, but no more runs. So in the bottom of the 6th, Rivera, Uribe, Barajas, and maybe Carroll. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Nationals, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Rivera walked and doubled. His double set up the 2 runs in the 4th on the heels of a walk to Matt Kemp. Ball 1. Rivera hitting .286. Ground foul. Tim Wallach lets that go by. 1-1 the count to Juan. Fouled away. 1-2 the count. Hiroki Kuroda has made exactly 100 pitches in his last 2 starts. He made 93 against the Mets and 91 in Arizona. So you can bet the Dodgers are counting his pitches and wondering if they get to his spot that they would bat for him in the dirt. 2-2. John Lannon, meanwhile, has now made 91 pitches. Two balls, 2 strikes. And got him. Pretty good sinker. That means not only the 6th strikeout for Lannon, but he has struck out 3 in a row. Got Ethier and Kemp in the 5th, and now Rivera here in the 6th. Lannon working now on Uribe, who has hit into a force play and reached on an error. Ground ball to the hole on the grass is Espinosa, and that takes care of Uribe. 8 in a row retired by Lannon. Would have been more except for the error by Desmond. And Rod Barajas will be coming up with Jamie Carroll on deck. Lannon with his 6 strikeouts. He struck out 6 against Baltimore, and he struck out 6 against the Giants. So for the 3rd time, he's had a half a dozen strikeouts. Barajas walked and popped up. Strike. 0-1. Rod hitting .208, 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Soft curveball, pop foul behind the plate. Here's Ramos, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. So 8 in a row retired now by John Lannon. And at the end of 6, 3-2 Nationals. 7 pitches in the 6th inning as he talks to Matt Stairs. In the 7th inning, with the Nationals leading 3-2, they'll have Ramos, the catcher, followed by Desmond, the shortstop, and then Lannon, the pitcher. For Hiroki Kuroda, this certainly figures to be his last inning. He's made 100 pitches, and more importantly, I guess, he's due to bat second when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Scott Elbert begins to warm up, and into the 7th we go. Ramos hitting .249, grounded to short, fly to right. Off the plate. Dodgers find themselves in yet another one-run game. They're okay in one-run games at home. They're 10-3, but when Mattingly takes his club on the road, they've lost 9 of 12. 2-0. Interesting that for the Nationals, they're 12-10 at home, 6-11 on the road in one-run games. All right, 3-0 and a strike. Ramos with 9 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Three and 1. Fastball. You know how they break down everything for ball players. For Ramos, in the final 3 innings of the games in which he has played, he is hitting just .176. This time, fly ball to Efield. So Ramos goes 0 for 3, 1 away. Lannon had retired 8 in a row, and Kuroda now has retired 8 in a row. Ian Desmond single to center, rode home on the home run by Lannon, and then last time up in the 4th inning, walked. Shortstop hitting .228, 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in. And a strike. Desmond, I'm sure, hoping that his 2 errors will not factor into the game. That's a strike, so he's in a hole now, 0-2. Ian is 25. He'll be 26 late in September. Ball 1. 1-2. I'm sure every infielder who ever played the game has had those nightmare games of errors, run scoring. Well, Desmond is going through that. 1-2. 2-2. I remember one time years ago, Dodgers Cardinals. Cardinals had a third baseman named Tommy Glaviano. Tommy made 3 errors, each time 2 runs scored. I mean, it was brutal. Fouled away. Was he in the lineup the next day? You bet. Manager didn't want to break his spirit. Two and 2. Ball 3. Full count, 1 out, 7th inning, 3-2 Nationals. Little foul ball. Ian originally signed by the Expos 7 years ago. Finally made it, not to the Expos, but to the Nationals 2 years ago. And he's been kind of up and down. 3-2. Off the plate, so he walks a second time. The number 8 hitter on base 3 times, which of course is very frustrating for Kuroda, not to mention what it does to Honeycutt. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Scott Elbert and Kenley Jansen. Hiroki's pitch count is up to 114. So let's see the message brought to the mound. And looking at Hiroki's pitch count, as we told you, his last 2 games, 91 and 93, for him to get up to 110 pitches, he'd have to go back to the middle of June. So 114 pitches. He had that first week in June against Cincinnati. Most pitches in a game this year against San Diego way back in April, when Mattingly had him go 8 2/3, and he made 117 pitches. So here's certainly in what would appear to be a bunt situation. We told you that the Nationals bunt an awful lot. Uribe well in on the grass. Rivera holding a corner on Desmond. And Desmond, remember, has stolen 20 out of 24. One out. Lannon shows bunt. Lannon has 2 sacrifices. You know who could open up a school to teach bunting? Livan Hernandez. He has 12 sacrifices. Missed the bunt. 0-1. $115 pitches now. On deck, left-hand batter Roger Bernardino. Showing bunt again. (3-2), that's the score. Nationals out in front. Swinging. Ground ball by the drawn in Uribe. Down to second is Desmond. So Davy Johnson calculates as he does, and he lets Lannon swing. So John, who had his first career home run, has as many hits tonight as he's had all year. 2. So first and second, 1 out in the 7th, and that'll do it for Kuroda. So Mattingly coming out, let him decide his own situation here. And after making all those pitches, Hiroki will come out losing, and we'll be back. 16 pitches, the second greatest number of pitches he made in a ball game this year. Again, to repeat, in his second game way back in April, he made 117 when he shut out San Diego. Tonight, the Dodgers have just not hit for him, and he has certainly had that story all year. He gives up 3, and the club has gotten him 2. For Kuroda, he gives way to Scott Elbert. Rather an uncharacteristic night for Kuroda, in the sense that he had 7 3-ball counts. He did strike out 7, and now he gives way to Elbert. What's remarkable for John Lannon, wearing a windbreaker down there at first base, he started the year no hits in 32 at-bats, and he now has had back-to-back games with 2 hits in each game, including his first major league home run tonight. Now, that was a huge hit where the Dodgers thought he was just trying to bunt Desmond up a notch. Roger Bernardina, a left-hand batter, is not going to come up. Jerry Hairston comes out of the dugout, and Jerry will pick up. Hairston batting .270 with 3 home runs, 19 runs batted in, and of course a very familiar name. Not only has he played for a couple of clubs, Jerry has played every position but pitcher and catcher. So he's a very handy guy to have around. If Elbert misses on the first pitch, if the count gets to 1 ball and no strike, Hairston is hitting .343 on that count. So let's see the first pitch. And ball 1. All right. Jerry is 5'10", 185, 35, from Illinois. Went to Southern Illinois University. 3rd generation black major leaguer in history. Not only did his dad play, you go back to his grandfather and his uncle. Well, he had that 1-0 count, but he fouled it off, 1-1. His grandfather played in the old Negro leagues in the 40s, and then became the first black American to play for the White Sox. So the name Hairston means a great deal. One ball and 1 strike. 2 on, Desmond at second, Lannon at first, 1 out. Scott Elbert worked 2 innings Saturday. Scott 16 strikeouts the last 15 innings. And ball 2, 2-1. With all the Hairstons to play in the big leagues, Jerry is the only one to play in a World Series. Played game 2 of the World Series for the Yankees in 2009. After Hairston comes Espinosa, the second baseman. Foul back. So for Jerry Hairston, batting for Bernardina, and then no doubt playing the outfield. Two balls, 2 strikes to Jerry Hairston, 1 out, 7th inning. Nationals trying to add to a 3-2 lead. Desmond and Lannon taking their leads. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Nationals. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. And ball 3, and it popped away. 3-2 the count. So let's take a look about Hairston, whether he makes contact or not. He has had about 223 plate appearances, and he has struck out 29 times. 1 out. We'll see about the runners. Trent Jewett, the first base coach, came over to say something to Lannon. Full count, 1 out. The runners are holding on the fake. Though still 3-2. Runners do not go, and it's popped up. Settling under it, therefore the infield fly rule, Juan Rivera. So Hairston pops up. Now you get a switch hitter in Espinosa, and Mattingly is coming out, and it'll be a 2-for-1 switch. Aaron Miles will take over for Juan Uribe. So Miles will go in the game and bat 9th. Coming out of the bullpen, Kenley Jansen. And 3-2 Nationals, 2 on, 2 out, and we'll be back. Not just the pitch is thrown, but the fact that John Lannon hit a 2-run home run, the first of his career back in the 2nd inning, and that is the difference when you boil it all down. So Kuroda made a lot of pitches, gave up 3 earned runs. Remember, the 2 errors by Ian Desmond made one of the 2 Dodger runs unearned. So Lannon has done very well. And now hoping that his mates can do something against Kenley Jansen after Elbert was able to stop Hairston. Espinosa fly deep to left and then struck out twice. And that's off the plate, ball 1. All the power from this side of the plate. Danny from Santa Ana went to school at Long Beach State. 1-1 to count. 17 home runs. Not a bad way to break in as a rookie second baseman. That's off the plate. Here in the inning with one out, Desmond walked. Lannon in a bunt situation, then swung away and single a left. But Hairston popped up batting for Bernardina. And here's Espinosa. 2 out, 7th inning, 3-2 Nationals. Lannon at first, Desmond at second. And a strike. Espinosa signed by the Nationals only 3 years ago, so he's arrived in a hurry. Desmond and Lannon out there. The boy who followed Troy Tulowitzki is the Long Beach State shortstop, Danny Espinosa. And down he goes. So a nice bit of relief. Albert takes care of Hairston. Jansen strikes out Espinosa, and it's 3-2 Nationals. Bottom of the 7th inning, Washington trying to hold on to the 3-2 lead. Jerry Hairston, who batted for Roger Bernardina, stays in the game in center field. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Nationals, 2 runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers, following what they have been doing all month of July, and especially what they do every time Kuroda pitches. They just don't score for him. And now he goes out down by 1. Jamie Carroll Ball one. Carroll grounded into a double play, reached on an error. Aaron Miles, playing third late in the game, bats ninth, hitting back of him. Showing bunt, 2-0 the count. Lannon has retired the last 8 in a row. That's in there. 2-1 to Jamie. Hitting .286. Fastball fouled away. Down in the bullpen, Sean Burnett, a left-hander, begins to loosen up for Washington. There he is. And there's old pal Jim Lett. Used to be here with the Dodgers. As nice a guy as you'd ever want to know. The bullpen coach now. And hit and speared at first base by Michael Moores. So if he doesn't make that catch, that's down the line. So Carroll lines out to first, one away. And here's Aaron Miles. As you can see, Lennon now has reached the 100 pitch mark. Miles hitting .311 with a home run and 23 runs batted in, and rips one into left. Going back, his Knicks. It's over his head against the wall. Miles on his way for two. He is in there. Aaron Miles, all he's doing is hitting a cool .396 when he walks up to the plate. Got a fastball out over belt high, and he knew exactly what to do with it as he bangs it up against the wall in left field. So the tying run is at second base with one out, and you have the left-hand hitting Gwynn and the switch hitting for Call coming up. Sean Burnett is down in the pen, and he'll be coming in. So John Lannon goes 6 1/3. Goes out where he can't lose. He could win. We'll have to wait and see about that, and we'll be back. Pitches. He goes out leading. However, he goes out, I'm sure, with, let's say, shaky confidence. Sean Burnett has lost 5 games in relief. He has also blown 7, so he's number 1 in blown saves. You see that ERA of 5.5. So Sean has been struggling. He's out of Dunedin, Florida. Went to Wellington High School. Once pitched a perfect game. One high school battling another. at the Bucky Dent Baseball Complex. There were all kinds of scouting directors, and the Pirates made him a #1 choice back in 2000. The bullpen has been very shaky for the Nationals, so they're going to go head-to-head with left-handers. Gwynn versus Burnett. 0-1. Burnett is 6'1", 195. Gwynn so far tonight struck out, walked, grounded out. On 1. Big curveball and a strike. He's got a pretty good fastball clocked as high as 93, but you certainly wouldn't call that overpowering. We've just seen the curve. He has a changeup and a slider. He studied almost every game he could get on videotape or on television or even going to the game. Every game that Tommy Glavine ever pitched. So he's out in front of Gwynn. No balls and 2 strikes. Sean will be 29 the middle of September. Fastball. 1-2. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Nationals 3, Dodgers 2. Nationals led 3-0. Ian Desmond, the Washington shortstop, made 2 errors, and that helped the Dodgers get their only 2. 1-2 to Tony Gwynn. Fastball hit to Desmond. 2 out. On the play, Miles advances to third. So with a runner at third, all the pressure on Rafael Furcal. For Burnett, he has 2 wild pitches. Two out, 7th inning, tying run 90 feet away, and that's ball 1. Furcal has a home run, 9 runs batted in. Home run was hit left-handed. One and 1. Boy, did he swing hard at that. Furcal coming into the game was hitting 172 right-handed and 171 left-handed. He has Miles at third, the tying run. 2 out, 7th inning, 3-2 Washington. Fastball in the dirt. Another nice save by Wilson Ramos, the catcher. 2-1 to Furcal. On deck, Andre Ethier. Porcelani and Lilly tomorrow night on Prime Ticket. Fouled away. 2-2 the count. Furcal has struck out 19 times, but looking closely at it, only 5 times batting right-handed. Meanwhile, we get the report Milwaukee defeated San Francisco 4-2. Got him. So Furcal caught looking, down he goes. Burnett does a good job to keep Miles at third. Lannon quite happy about the moment, and Washington still leads 3-2. and it came from an unexpected quarter. The pitcher, John Lannon, clears the right field scoreboard for his first career home run. It came with a man aboard in the second inning, and it is certainly the difference as we have now arrived in the eighth. Zimmerman, Morse, and Worth, as Lannon says goodnight, having pitched a strong 7 innings. 0-1 to Zimmerman. Single to left, single to center, struck out, 2 for 3. Ryan Zimmerman batting .248. 5 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Been banged up. He's only been in 41 games. Right. 0-2. Three runs, 7 hits for Washington. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Fastball at the knees. Down he goes. 1 out in the 8th inning. You know, Tuesday is Fernando Mania bobblehead night. Dodgers and Rockies at 7:10. Fans will receive a rookie El Toro. Compliments of Kaiser Permanente. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. 1 away in the 8th inning. Michael Morse doubled in a run in the first inning. Since then, struck out, popped up. Breaking ball, 1-0. Morse followed by Worth. Breaking ball in there. So you have the hitter born in Jamaica and the pitcher from Curaçao in the Netherlands Antilles. 2-1 to count. Michael Morse said proudly in 2005, when he played his first game in the major leagues, he became the first native of Jamaica to play in the big leagues. Of course, Andrew Jones beat Kenley Jansen. Michael Morse says he wants to get a glove with a Jamaican symbol on it. He said, you see all these guys with the Dominican or Venezuelan signs. I wonder what the Jamaican symbol is. Ball 3. Morse absolutely admires the hard work his mom put in to raise him and his brother. 3-2. And down he goes on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. So Espinosa struck out in the 7th inning, and now Jansen has struck out 3 in a row. And the batter will be Jason Worth. Two down. 8th inning, 3-2 Nationals. The Dodgers have Ethier, Kemp, and Rivera in the bottom of the 8th. Worth struck out, single, fouled out. And a strike. Oh, 0-1. Off speed, little breaking ball, and that's a strike. 0-2. Worth hitting .219. And the fastball got him. What a performance by Kenley Jansen. as he faces 4 batters in relief and strikes them all out. And it'll be Ethier, Kemp, and Rivera, bottom of the 8th, 3-2 Nats. Three to two in favor of the Nationals. Bottom of the 8th inning. Tyler Clippard coming out of the Washington bullpen. Clippard has 5 blown saves. Normally, he comes in inheriting runners, but he will start the inning. 6'4", only 175 out of Lexington, Kentucky. The Yankees thought he was a thoroughbred. They drafted him 9th in 2003. His dad, Bob, has coached Tyler in baseball and in life all the way. Clippard actually got up to the Yankees 4 years ago and then came over to the Nationals. Facing Andre Ethier. Strike. 0-1. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Ethier single to right, grounded to first, struck out. 0-1. Over the top and drops that curveball. 1-1. His fastball has been clocked as high as 94. Then he has the curve, and a circle changeup, they say, is really his best pitch. 1-1. There's the change, and way out in front of it, 1-2. Over the top to blow him away with a fastball. So he gave him everything in the store. He started him with a fastball. Then he came back with a change. And he comes back with another 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And that takes care of Andre Ethier. So 1 away. Matt Kemp has struck out twice and walked. Matt hitting .307. Ball 1. Kemp is 1 for 4 in the past against Tyler Clippard. Matt's getting hungrier. 2 strikeouts tonight. And as we told you, he had struck out 3 times Wednesday afternoon. And this time a high drive but playable. And Hairston is there to make the catch. So the crowd kind of seeing that with their hearts. But as soon as the ball left the bat, Hairston signaled he had it. So 2 down in the 8th inning. And the batter, Juan Rivera. Rivera has walked, doubled to set up the 2 Dodger runs, and struck out. Rivera batting .273. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Mike McDougall begins to loosen up. Fastball strike. Due up next is Jansen, and James Loney is out on deck. Two out, 8th inning, 3-2 Nationals. A crowd of 39,839. There's that off-speed pitch popped up. It will be Ramos. So the Dodgers go very quietly in the 8th inning, 1-2-3. They've had 1 hit since the 4th inning, and at the end of 8, 3-2 Nationals. Bank at the end of 2 innings. The Dodgers, thanks to a couple of errors, scored twice in the 4th, and that's it. Here we are in the 9th inning, and the Nationals still holding on 3-2. The Dodgers have used Kuroda, Elbert, Jansen, and now McDougall. Meanwhile, getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning, as McDougall comes in, he'll go in Rivera's spot. Loney will go in Uribe and Jansen's spot. That means Loney, playing first base, will lead off in the bottom of the 9th inning. For Washington, Rick Ankiel, who is batting in Lance Nix's spot. Ankiel will be coming up. They have a lot of confidence. They let Ankiel swing a lot, 5 times actually, on a 3-0 pitch. And he's another fella, Davey Johnson knows if he gets that first pitch, he'll go after it. He's hitting .391 when going after that first pitch. And Keel, born in Fort Pierce, just down the road from Vero Beach, and down a little more, he lives in Jupiter. Originally a 2nd-round pick by the Cardinals. And ball 1. And Keel is 6'1", 215 pounds. And ball 2, 2-0. And Keel, second round pick by the Cardinals. Up and down with them. Played last year with the Royals, the Braves, and then this year with the Nationals. 2-0. And a high fly ball to center. Back goes Kemp, away back, and it's going to hit the base of the center field wall. And Ankiel will hold on at second as Kemp guns it in. Matt Turning desperately trying to find that ball. Just couldn't find it. Look one way, then the other. So a long fly ball to center. Going back, looks left, now looks the other way, and it winds up to his left. So Ankiel, a long double. Now they have Ramos, Desmond, and the pitcher spot. Ramos grounded to short, twice flied to right. Hitting .248. Ball 1. McDougald with a wonderful earned run average, 1.6. .24 walks, 87 strikeouts. And 2-0. Three runs, 8 hits for the Nationals, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And Keel at second base, nobody out, 9th inning. 2-1. In the Dodger bullpen, Hung-Chi Kuo begins to warm up. Two and one to Ramos. Fastball, little dribbler, foul. 2-2. Ramos, as we mentioned earlier, in the last 3 innings of the games, and since he is a catcher, it's probably fatigue. But in the last 3 innings of his games, he's hitting .176. So in the 7th inning, he flied to right. Now up there 2-2. He has 9 home runs. And ball 3. Three and 2. And punched it the right side. So if nothing else, that's a good bit of hitting. 3 and 2, and he goes the other way to get his man over to third, and the pros certainly appreciate that. He'll get 5.
Shortstop number 6.
So a good at bat for Wilson Ramos. So now with a runner at third, 1 out, the Dodgers have to play the infield up, and that makes Desmond a far more tougher hitter than a .228 batting average. He has singled and walked twice. Remember, he also committed 2 errors back in the 4th inning to give the Dodgers their 2 runs. They'd be shut out otherwise. Matt Stairs is out on deck. And ball 1 to Ian Desmond, hitting .228. 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Rick Ankiel at third. Desmond trying to pick him up. 1 ball and no strikes. And ball 2. So McDougal gave up the long double over the head of Matt Kemp. Dodger outfield relatively shallow with Desmond up there. Kemp is playing very shallow for him. And ball 3. So McDougal goes 3-0 to Desmond. Matt Stairs waiting on deck. And ball 4. So Desmond walks on 4 pitches, and that brings up Matt Stairs. So Stairs coming up to hit for Clippers. Matt Stairs is 42 years old. He's from St. John, New Brunswick in Canada. He was originally signed by the Montreal Expos in 1989. And Mattingly on his way to the mound, he has Hung-Chi Kuo down in the bullpen. I mean, you could write a book about Matt Stairs. He first came up in 1992. We'll see if he stays in when they bring in the left-hander Kuo, and we'll be back. The 5th Dodger pitcher. He will not be pitching to Matt Stairs, however. Davey Johnson brought Stairs out to force Don Mattingly's hand, so he lifted McDougal for Kuo, and then Jesus Flores out of Venezuela will be checking in, going up against Hung-Chi Kuo. Flores is a catcher from Sucre, Venezuela. He grew up idolizing Ivan Rodriguez and Andre Galarraga. So he'll be facing Hung-Chi Kuo with runners at the corners and 1 out. Flores is hitting .200. He's only been in 6 games, and he's only had 15 at bats. So Flores, 3 for 15, hitting .200. Tough spot. Not so much pressure in the sense, at least his club is leading 3-2. Infield now goes back into double play depth. 1 out in the ninth, 3-2 Nationals. Flores is 26. He'll be 27 the end of November. Curveball. 1 ball and no strikes. Hung Chi Kuo inheriting a tough spot. First and third, 1 away. Two and oh. Kuo coming in 0-1. 16 strikeouts, 12 walks. So you know he was fighting his control, had to leave the club. Mentally got all mixed up trying too hard. Now the Dodgers hope he's over that battle. 2-0. Two and one. I think Flores is doubting himself as to whether he actually swung at a strike or not. That was the first thing he did, asking Corey Blazer when he backed out. So Ankiel, who doubled, is at third, and with 1 out, Desmond is at first. Desmond has stolen 20 out of 24. Ball 3. That was awfully close to the pitch that Flores swung at. So 3-1 the count. Jerry Hairston, who got into the game as a pinch hitter and popped up, is on deck. Three and one. 3-2. Now you have Flores, who has not played at all in 6 games, 15 at bats. He has struck out 7 times. So do you think Davey would run Desmond with a hitter who's hardly had any experience and has struck out half the time? Well, you can bet that's in his consideration. Got a good runner in Desmond. He's gone late on ball 4. So Flores draws the walk, and the Nationals have loaded him up. So Ankiel at third, Desmond goes to second, Flores draws the walk, and the batter is Hairston. Jerry Hairston batted for Bernardina in the 7th inning and popped up, and now Mattingly is bringing a hook with him. Matt Guerrier has been throwing in the bullpen. So the Dodgers ready to use their 6th pitcher. Here comes Matt, and we'll be back. Bases loaded, 1 out, ninth inning, with the Nationals leading the Dodgers 3-2. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the ninth, it'll be Loney, Barajas, and Carroll. And if anybody gets on, Aaron Miles. But Guerrier with no margin for error. And the veteran Hairston coming up. Jerry Hairston in his career has 2 grand slams. The last one was way back in 2005. So Jerry has Ankiel at third, Desmond at second, Flores at first, and Hairston checking in. Jerry hitting .269. And ball 1. Matt Guerrier has not faced Jerry Hairston. So Ankiel, Desmond, Flores all out there. Loney is up in front of the runner. 1 ball and no strikes. And ball 2. So in the inning, Ankiel doubled over Matt's head in dead center. 1 out later, Desmond walked. They lifted McDougal for Quo, who went 3-2 and walked Flores. So now with the bases loaded, they give the ball to Guerrier. Two and 0. And ball 3. So the Nationals leading 3-2 are right on the edge with 1 out of picking up another. On deck, Danny Espinosa, the second baseman. 3-0 to Jerry Hairston. He has 3 home runs, 19 runs batted in. And a strike. Guerrier 3-3, 16 walks, 27 strikeouts. Three and 1 to Hairston. 3-2. Jerry Hairston came up to the Baltimore Orioles way back in 1998. With them about 7 years. Then 2 years with the Cubs, 2 with the Rangers, 2 with the Reds, and then a year with the Yankees, a year with the Padres, and now this year with the Nationals. So he has really traveled. 3-2 with the bases loaded and 1 out. And a high drive into deep left field, and that one is gone. A grand slam home run by Jerry Hairston, the 3rd of his career, and the Nats break it wide open and lead 7-2. A long time between slams, 2005 and now tonight.
Second baseman, Danny Espinosa.
So for Hairston, he is all over it. A long drive, got a fastball up, out over the plate, 3-2, and there was no doubt about it. So Guerrier gives up a hit and a run. Quo is charged with a run, and the batter now is Espinosa. McDougal is charged with 2 runs, and it's 7-2 Nationals on the slam by Jerry. Ground ball to the right side. Carroll is on it. So 2 down. Ankiel talking to Hairston. Ankiel opened up with the double, and the Dodgers unable to get that 3rd out. Grand slam by Jerry Hairston. Dodgers are averaging 2 runs a game in July. And Hairston just about pushes it way out of reach. So here's Zimmerman. Ball 1. Zimmerman has singled twice, struck out twice, 2 for 4. For Matt Gurria, that was the 3rd home run that he has given up this year. 7-2 Nationals, 4-run inning, and we're in the 9th. And that's stroke to center. Kemp will backhanded while going into a slide, but the damage was more than done. Jerry Hairston, a grand slam, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th. 7-2 Nationals. Thanks to the grand slam by Jerry Hairston, who got into the game as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and popped up and had another shot and hit the slam. By the way, for the Dodgers, they are in a very discouraging spot. Not only do they trail by 5, but the opposition has doubled them up as far as scoring runs in the 9th inning. With 4 tonight, the opposition has scored 54 runs in the 9th inning against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have scored 26. So now Drew Storen out of Stanford. He was originally drafted by the Yankees. However, he opted to go to Stanford. He majored in mechanical engineering. Then originally in 2009 signed by the Nationals. So he's only had 2 years, and he's pitching in the big leagues, and he's won 5 games in relief. Storen is 5-2, fine ERA of 2.4. He was Montreal Expos bat boy back in 2003. So the bat boy turned big leaguer, and he'll be pitching now to James Loney. Ball 1. Loney hitting .263, 4 home runs, 31 runs batted in. He gets sinkers, sliders, curve, and a change. There's the sinker for a strike, and it comes in at 95. His two-seamer has been clocked as high as 96. One and one. And another sinking fastball at 95. 1-2 the count. They have smoothed out his delivery. At one time they talked about Storen pitching like Luis Tiant, which meant you really twisted and turned. He doesn't do that. Not anymore. 2-2 the count. Left-handers hit .247 against him last year. And down goes Loney this year. So 1 out in the 9th inning as Storen picks up a K.
Catcher number 28, Rod Barajas.
Rod Barajas has walked, popped up, fouled out. Barajas batting .207, and on deck Jamie Carroll. Barajas, 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in, and ball 1. 1-0 the count. Interesting, the Nationals bullpen. The pen has 20 wins. They've blown 21 saves. And they're number 1 in allowing inherited runners to score. The problem is the Dodgers have not given them any inherited runners. Since the 4th inning, the Dodgers have gotten 1 man on base. That was Miles, who doubled. 1 out, 9th inning, 7-2 Nationals. Just off the plate, ball 2. Last year, the Dodgers and the Nationals split 6 meetings. This year, they will play 7 games, 3 here and 4 in Washington. And that stroke to center, but moving over to pick it off is Ankiel. So the Dodgers are down to their last out.
Second baseman, number 14, Jamie Carroll.
Jamie Carroll grounded into a double play, reached on an error, and lined out to Michael Morse, the first baseman. So for Don Mattingly, using 6 pitchers, but it was the same old story. The Dodgers scoring only 2 runs. They're averaging 2 runs a game in July. And losing tonight, they will have lost 10 of the 17 played in this month. Jamie hitting .285, 8 RBIs to no one's surprise. He took a strike. And another. 0-2 the count. Storen throwing hard. He's been right at 95. He was throwing sinking fastballs to Loney at 95, and that last pitch up was a strike at 95. Now back. He had 39,839 on Friday night fireworks. A lot of folks just got up and left when Hairston hit the grand slam. Andre Ethier talking to Casey Blake with Trent Olgen just outside the conversation. 0-2. And see you later. Down go the Dodgers. 2 strikeouts in the 9th inning. The last 8 in a row, but the hero, among others, Jerry Hairston, who hits a grand slam home run to break it open. So Davy Johnson, who managed here, returns and has himself a victory. 7 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Nationals. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. The winner is John Lannon, and the loser is Hiroki Kuroda. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow night. Now a reminder, stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.